Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. Pensioners, homeowners, families, everyone really needs to start worrying about this month's or next month's budget. Labour plans to hit everyone and hit them hard simply because they've worked hard, saved money, and invested. They're saying it's luck that got them rich rather than the work that they've done. And that's, of course, the worst of it. They're not going after the super rich. They can't. The super rich have already gone, or at least will be gone by the time anything announced in the budget hits. But the worst of this all is that this whole tax grabbing series of policies that Reeves is going to announce as part of Torsten Bell's budget is all built on a tissue of lies and misdirections. Because, decades of working, saving, paying off your mortgage, investing in your pensions, they now count for nothing. Instead, millions of people, and we're talking millions, we're not talking the upper echelon, we're talking tens of millions of people across Britain, will be beaten financially for it. A punishment beating on November the 26th. Labour is going to lead the pretense that their homes and pensions and security and everything are unearned. They're not hard luck. They're not hard work. They're good luck. Therefore, it needs to be taxed. Reeves needs to raise at least 40 billion. It's probably nearer 100 billion by the time all is said and done, to fund a spending blitz that benefits those who don't put the effort in or who have come here illegally. And all across the left of the Labour Party particularly, but the left anyway, generally, there are calls for a raid on wealth. And that seems very odd because wealth does not mean income. Now, Resolution Foundation, which is the ultra-hardcore Marxist left think tank that basically wants to tax 110% of everything you've got, it's embedded itself in the Treasury like a cancerous tumour. And it was run by Torsten Bell for 10 years, who then had to give up the leadership so that he could go and become the Chancellor behind the Chancellor, if you will. There's a couple of other Resolution Foundation members as well who work as advisors to the Prime Minister. So you can see the direction of travel when it comes, I think, to tax. Now, they are saying that they want to tax everyone who's even got a little wealth to their names. They work on the principle that rather than giving people education and opportunities, creating jobs and so forth that would lift them out of poverty, no, it's easier to take the money off those who've been able to work hard, save hard, invest, etc. I'm sure maybe a little bit of luck, but they've got it. They're going to take it off those who've got it and give it to those who've never wanted to earn it. They think that will lift people out of poverty. It won't, of course. It just makes a culture of dependency. I don't need to work. I'm getting all this shit. Rather than, I really need to work because I'm hungry and no bugger's given me anything to eat. And that's the difference. You cannot, how can we put this? Drilling a hole in your neighbour's boat won't lift yours any higher. Now, Molly Broom, who is the senior economist at the Resolution Foundation, and obviously is not a very good economist if she's working for them, claims rising pensions and house prices account for most of the wealth gap. And her conclusion is Britain needs a new, higher wealth taxes. But it's going to fall on pensioners who've got good pensions, southerners because their homes are worth more than the north, and of course on the families it's going to affect. But that, of course, is the lie. And Broom knows it. She's claiming that the increase in household wealth has come from passive gains, such as rising house prices, rather than active behaviour on the householders for actually going out, working and buying the house and investing in it and saving and paying off the pension, etc., and building their pensions and so forth. So what they're actively saying, what the Labour Party are actively saying is that decades of saving, of working hard, of striving to buy your own home so you've got something for your children don't count as effort. And it's going to be something you're going to be punished for. People haven't worked for their wealth, they're saying. It's magic, it's unearned, and it should be taxed, and taxed hard. But when they talk about wealth tax, don't think they're talking about the wealthy. The wealthy, of course, have gone. Somebody's just come to the door. Yes, postman bringing me goodies. Well, that's not strictly true. Postman bringing my wife goodies. She knows how to treat herself. Anyway, where was I? Yes, wealth people. These wealth taxes won't be affecting, quote, the wealthy. There aren't enough super rich Brits left. Those that are will be fleeing as soon as they see it. And so the burden will fall further down the income tree. Pensioners, families, homeowners, workers, anyone earning more than about £30,000 a year. And don't believe about all that rubbish about passive gains, as they call it. Yes, pensioners have benefited from rising house prices, but they're currently living in that house. They haven't made a penny for themselves on it. They had to save for a deposit. They had to pay their mortgage. They had to maintain the home in living condition for decades, and it's hard work. But they want to tax that because they don't like the idea of you having anything. And when you factor in the inflation, they go, oh, your house has gone from $250,000 to $500,000. Maybe. But don't forget, if you take out the indexing of inflation out of that, it's actually not that big a gain. And by the time you do realise the asset and invested it for income for the rest of your life, well, you're not going to make that much money every year. It's hardly enough to live on. So these magical gains that they're talking about are only that. Imaginary, magical, non-existent. They're playing fast and loose with basic mathematics in the hope that you are too stupid to understand what they're actually doing. But what they're actually doing is conning you. And it's all going to fail. And don't forget, as the taxes go up, increasing numbers of people will leave the country. More importantly, increasing numbers of companies will fall, leaving more people unemployed. And so the tax bill will have to go up even more to cover the loss of taxes and the increase in benefits. It's a spiral. It's a doom spiral of stupidity, but you expect nothing else from these dumb socialists. Let me know what you think. Thanks very much. Goodbye.